Hey, what's up? My name is Brandon James. This video is going to be about things that I'm currently into. What am I watching? What am I reading? Things like that. And in this case, I'm talking about an episode of a TV show that I just watched. It's not necessarily the most appropriate show, content-wise, but the show is Euphoria. It's kind of known for its film style, for the look of the show, and it's also a little bit known for the content of drug use and sexual activity, mostly among teenagers, which is why it's out there so much. The episode that I just watched is episode 6, and I don't really want spoilers, but there might be some spoilers. So if you haven't seen season 2, episode 6, maybe skip this. Or if you don't care about spoilers and you just care about what I'm saying, keep watching. This show, it has a character who's heavily addicted to drugs. They've made it through rehab, and once they get out, they immediately relapse. You find that out in season 1. So they've been living this double life for a while. They show some people that they are clean cut, that they're following the rules, that they have been clean, like their parents and their sister. Everything about them is supposed to be showing that they are not addicted anymore, that the rehab helped, that it fixed them. But to other people, like her dealers and some other friends that she meets, they know something's up. They know that she's still addicted, that she's still seeking drugs. Even her Narcotics Anonymous sponsor is noticing that something is up and begins to really push into her. In this episode, we see kind of the effects of her addiction. She's trying everything she can to get another fix, to get the next high that she can find. And after many of these double life secrets, they're caught by their partner, they're caught by their parents, they're caught by their sister, and we see that she's caught by her sponsor. She's an addict doing everything she can to get the next score. She is in a fight with her mom because her mom finds out. Like, she's got her stash in her room, the mom finds it, she realizes, my drugs aren't here anymore, where are they? And so she goes into this fit of rage. She's screaming, she's kicking down a door, her sister's curled up on her bed crying. The mom is, you can tell, hurt and doesn't know what to do to help. They're using words to hurt every person that they could ever care about. We see in the episode that she tries stealing pills from a person in the show who has really acted as somebody who cares for her, kind of like a brother figure for her. The character runs from the cops because she has stolen from a house. She broke into somebody's house through the garage. She is under a bed. She finds cash. She finds jewelry. She runs and the cops see her. So she's booking it through this subdivision. She's jumping over fences into people's backyards, running, hiding, and eventually she ends up at a drug dealer's home. This drug dealer is somebody who has given her drugs to sell. So she's trying to become a dealer, but she's taken that score for herself. And as she's there, she's in these withdrawal symptoms. You can tell she's sweating, she's in pain, everything she can do. She's just trying to ease the pain of her addiction. And she meets this drug dealer who says she doesn't have anything to help her. The drug dealer does, however, have some heroin that she can inject through a vein. This is something a little too far away from what she's done before. She usually does pills, snorts the drugs, but this is the first intravenous thing that might happen. She eventually, the withdrawal symptoms become too much and she says, I'll take anything you can. And so now she's left with track marks in her arms, and she wakes up and she's locked in this drug dealer's home with no way to escape. Eventually she does escape, that's a spoiler. But everything in this episode, it spoke to the need of an addict, the dependency that drugs have over the character. They risked everything. They risked their relationships with family, with friends, with their person they love. They risked their safety, running from the cops, their health. And they did all of this to reach the one thing that they desperately wanted at the time. They were offered to go to rehab, and they don't. They leave the car and run away into traffic. And a lingering question that floats around would be, was it worth it? Was it worth it to risk those friendships, those relationships, your health, your safety, just to get that next score? And I don't want to get too spiritual about a TV show, but it makes me reflect on what dependency on God means. If this is what dependency on drugs looks like, how far should a person go to be dependent on God? Are there things that need to be ruined in order to get our next fix? What are the parts of our life, the people, the ideas we have to destroy in order to be closer to God? I think there's a part that you're not just necessarily like hurting others to get to God, but it might mean not being in communication with an unhealthy parent. It might mean not agreeing with a set of ideas that culture has. It might be being in contrast to the ideas of a political party. It might mean many things for us to be dependent on God. Along with this episode of TV, I was also watching the current season of Ozark, which just happens to be another mature rated show about drugs and illegal activities. And the characters in that show also show deep desperation of how do we get out of this? How do we get past this drug issue? How do we get out of this debt that we owe? But in this show, they seem to love the power they get from the drugs, the money. So I don't know. I don't know what really my thoughts are, but I do think this episode of Euphoria was a great display of dependency. And I'm just thinking of how does that connect to our faith and our dependency on God. Maybe you want to watch the show, maybe you don't. Keep in mind that it is mature rated. You're going to see some things or hear some things that maybe you're uncomfortable with. But I also tend to think that these creative and artistic outlets show us a little bit more about culture, about the world that we live in. And this is a different mindset than I'm used to. And so I enjoy watching these things because I want to understand other people's experiences of life. I'm never going to, hopefully, I'm going to strive not to become a drug addict. So I'm never going to know what it's like to be a drug addict. But this portrayal in this episode can help me understand what somebody might be going through. So that's why it's important to me to be able to understand and watch these things, but it might not be for everybody. So take that however you will. So other than that, I will talk to you soon.